Hello, Math World. We are beginning the sixth unit of the year, and it is on linear inequalities. All right. So we are going to just go through the notes. We were not able to go through them during class, so we'll go through the notes now. Starting with the top left here, just an inequality. All right. Inequalities, the difference between inequalities and equations are that inequalities have millions of answers, or they have more than one answer, right? If it goes into infinity, it has an infinity amount of answer, which this one says x, right? Reading it, x is greater than 2. That means any number greater than 2, as long as you can count, as long as it's not greater than 2, that's an answer to the question. Well, how do we graph that? We go to the number 2 on our number line. We have an open circle. You see this right here? That's our open circle, and we read it as x is greater than 2. How do we show which numbers are correct? The line this way, right? You could say it's highlighting or it's going across the correct numbers, all right? So go towards the numbers that actually make the inequality true. Now, x is any number less than 2. So again, it's open circle because it's not equal to, it's simply less than. So open circle to the left because it's less than. Now, our third example, x is, we read this as greater than or equal to. When we want to show that the number is equal to, we do use a closed dot, all right? And it does the same thing as this one. These two are very similar. They go to both ways. The only difference is closed dot, open dot. All right, and the fourth and final one is simply x is less than or equal to number 2. Again, we want to include number 2 into our problem, so it's going to be circled or highlighted. It's going to be a closed circle. There you go. All right, state whether each number is a solution to the inequality x is less than or equal to 3. Well, simply put the numbers in the inequality to see if they are true. Is 0 less than or equal to 3? Well, yes, it is less than 3, so that's a yes. I'll write yes there. And, terrible S, write a better S. All right, negative 4. Is negative 4 less than or equal to 3? Yes, it is. I'll do a check mark on that one. A little easier. And 5.1, is 5.1 less than or equal to 3? No, it's not. So I'll write a no there. All right, and then the final one is 3 less than or equal to 3. Yes, 3 is not less than 3, but it is equal to 3. So therefore, it is a great solution. I cannot create S's on here. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit. See what else we have here. All right, now, how do we solve inequalities? They are the exact same as equations, DCVS. There is one difference. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. Remember that. It's very important. The only difference between inequalities and equations when you're solving is that when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. All right, here we go. All right, now let's start with our examples. First, right, if we do DCVS, if we write that down over here, DCVS, yay, I made a good S. All right, so what we have to do is there anything to distribute? No. Is there anything to combine on either side? No. Now we have to isolate the variable, right? So the first thing we're going to do, draw a little line here, subtract 4 from each side, do the opposite operation you see. So that's going to be negative 6. So 3k right now, oh, that's ugly, is less than negative 6. Okay, 3k is less than negative 6. So we're going to subtract 3 from each side. Then we have to separate the 3 and the k. We see multiplication here, so we're going to divide 3 from each side, right? Now, when you divide 3, negative 6 by 3, you get k is less than negative 2, all right? So we are now looking at this, and we see that when we graph it, the number line is open. There's no number lines there. I always just put the number we are using in our inequality in the middle, and you have to put at least one number to the side. So if this is less than -2, what number would this be? Yes, it would be -1. Or this is actually greater than, I'm sorry. And this would be -3 here. And we are going to go with an open circle because it's not equal to -2, it's just less than -2. So my open circle goes here, right? And then we go to the left, less than. -3 is less than 2, so we'll go this way. As we fill in that blank, it says we're going to use an open circle. Open circle. There we go. And the line is going to be pointing to the left. Good job. All right, now let's move on to the next example. We have -2x minus 3 is less than or equal to -5. Remember, when we multiply or divide by a negative number, we're going to flip the inequality sign. It looks like we might have to do this. Let's play it out to see if it's true. All right, first, DCVS every single time. You guys are going to be pros at this by the end of the year. Distribute, nothing to distribute. Is there anything to combine on either side? Nothing to combine. Now we must isolate the variable. To do that, we're going to go ahead and add 3 to each side. Right? So I'm going to draw a little line here. When we add 3 to each side, we see that these cancel out. And we're left with -2. And we have -2x is less than or equal to -2. So now we have to divide each side by -2. Now, the first thing I do when I divide by -2 is flip my sign. I don't write the answer. I say, uh-oh, ding, ding, ding. That's an an immediate need to take care of. And I flip the sign. So it was saying less than. Now we'll make it say greater than. A negative divided by a negative is a +1. So we say x is greater than +1 here. Right? That's a negative, so we should have flipped the sign. So it should say x is greater than 1. X is greater than 1. All right? So we'll put our 1 here. The number greater than 1 is 2. Put that there. The number less than 1 is 0. Now we're going to use an open and closed circle. We are going to use a closed circle. Almost said the wrong thing. Because it has that sign, that equal sign there. Whenever you see that equal sign, that means you must include the number, which means it must be included, which means it must be a closed circle. It's greater than, so we're going to go this way. All right, now moving on to our next problem. We'll go down here, go over here first, and slide it down. There we go. Now, example, we have 1/4 A is less than 6. Well, we have a fraction. How do we get rid of fractions? The reciprocal rule, right, or the inverse rule of multiplication. So we're going to go here, instead of multiplying by 1/4, we'll multiply each side by 4. Oh, what happened? What happened? Let's go back and see if we can get things back to the way they're supposed to be. So if I pick that up, I go there, I should be good. We'll be here at 4. There we go. Multiply that side by 4. Multiply that side by 4. And A, because 4 times 4 is 4 times 1 is 4. And there's an imaginary under number 1 under that 4. So we have 4 over 4, which reduces to 1. And we don't need to write 1A. We know that that's A, and there's an invisible 1 in front. So we have A is less than 24. So we're going to go ahead, put our number 24 here. The next number greater than 24 is 25. The greater number always goes to the right. The lesser number always goes to the left. And we see that A is less than 24. So that's going to be open circle. And we're going to go to our left. All right, and what did we do? We multiplied each side by 4 over 1 technically, because when we have a fraction, we cannot forget to flip it and multiply it. All right, now let's move on to the next one. W divided by -8 is greater than or equal to -10. All right, well, here we go. We have an instance, right, where we are dividing by a negative number. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply each side by -8. And we have W, ding, 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 right? The immediate action that needs to happen now is to flip the sign right now, okay? So we're going to have our W, and we're going to flip that to go the opposite way. And 10 times -8 is -80. All right, remember, whenever you see division or multiplication by a negative number, what does that mean? The negative number is on this side, and it crosses the inequality. When it crosses that inequality, it flips it. All right, so we have -80 here. The number greater than the next number greater than -80, -79. Number less than -80 is -81. Is that going to be open or closed circle? That is going to be an closed circle. Good job. Now it says it's less than. Which number is less than 80? 81. So we're -81. So we're going to go to the left, and we have done that perfectly. All right, now we're going to do a little on our own. Here, we're going to give you a couple to work on your own, right there. All right, so the first thing you're going to do, go ahead and pause the video after each one, see if you got it right, work on it. So what I would do is on number 1, I hit pause. I'd work on it on my own, right? And then I play the video to see if I got the same answer as the video. And then I would do that for 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you did that correctly, you should be able to do the homework without a question. If you have any questions after watching the video, please leave them below and I will respond as quickly as possible. All right, now, DCVS every single time, right? Because we still got to come back to equations at the end of the year, and we want to keep these rules fresh. So, draw a line. We'll add 8 here. We will add 8 here, right? And we have 2W is greater than 6. Now, what we're going to do is divide each side by -2 because we got +2, excuse me, because we want to split those up, and we have W is greater than, I'm going to get that to work, 3. So I'll put 3 there, I'll put 4 there. Now, if we read the directions, it says plug it in and check. What does that mean? Does your solution make sense? Plug it in and check. Well, let's look. We said that in order to make this inequality true, W must be greater than 3. Well, 4 is greater than 3. Let's plug it in and see if it works. So we have 2 instead of the W, write our 4. Right? -8 is greater than -2. And 8 minus 8 is 0. -2 just simply drops down. Is 0 greater than -2? Yes, it is. We did everything right, so we can go ahead and graph it. Is that going to be open or closed? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It will be open, and we will go to our right. Now, in the next one, we have C divided by -7 plus 3 is less than -4. Go ahead and pause, work on it. Welcome back. All right, DCVS, we'll write that down. Okay, then we'll multiply by a negative number. I see that's going to be there, but before we multiply by a negative number, I know we're going to add. We have to get rid of this +3. All right, so to get rid of this +3, I know we're going to subtract 3 on this side. Then -3 minus 4 gives you -7. Now you have C over -7. To get rid of that -7, we have to do the opposite. We are currently dividing, so we'll multiply each side by -7. -7 here, and then we'll get C is equal to 49. C is equal to 49. All right, let's plot that out. 49 here, 50 here, and 51. All right, so to make this easy, I would do multiples of 7, right? So 7 times 7 is 49, right? We can use 49, but I always like to do exactly. And I wrote an equal sign, which is absolutely wrong. It's not equal, it's less than. All right, so C needs to be less than 49. The next multiple of 7 less than 49 is 42. So let's use 42 and see what happens. All right, so we'll have 42, but we divided by a negative number. Look at Mr. McGee. All you guys at home who caught that, we divide by a negative number. Ding, ding, ding. So it flips. C is greater than 49. Now, the next number greater than 49 is 56. All right, so it's going to be 56. We'll drop that in there. 56 divided by negative 7 plus 3 is less than negative 4. Now, because, and I'm running out of room here. All right, there we go. It doesn't want to work off screen. So what I'm going to have to do is rearrange this work up here so it moves with me and I am able to do the work. And so I will say C is greater than 49. So what I'll do is 56 over negative 7 plus 3 is less than negative 4. All right, 56 divided by negative 7 is negative 8 plus 3. All right, negative 3, we'll just keep that negative 4. Negative 3 plus negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. Is negative 5 less than negative 4? Yes, it is. So that means what we did by switching the sign here, and this is important, we started off with a less than. We finished with the greater than, but we always take our number and drop it back into the original problem. So the original problem had a less than, so I put it back into the problem with the less than symbol, and it works perfectly. Negative 5 is less than negative 4. So now our answer to this problem is great. That way. All right. Now, 2 more. Go ahead and pause the video. Come back. All right, welcome back. Hopefully, this is better explained than the last one. We only have 1 step, so it should be pretty easy. First thing we're going to do is divide by a negative 5. What? Ding, 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 ding. Negative 5 is a negative number, so first thing we're going to do is write down the flipped inequality sign. And negative 35 divided by a negative 5 is 7. M is less than or equal to 7. Let's plug it in. So we could go 8. Let's try 8. So the next number from 7 is 8. So we'll go negative 5 and we'll plug in 8. Right? And we'll go greater than or equal to negative 35. And I'm sorry, we should have done 6. Should have done 6. There you go. Because we want the number less than or equal to. You actually could have done 7 because it's equal to. Negative 5 times 6 gives us what number? Negative 30. Is negative 30 greater than or equal to negative 35? Why, yes, it is. So what we'll do is we'll put 7 here. We'll put 8 here. We'll put 6 here. And we'll have a circle. Is that going to be an open or closed circle? You are correct. It is going to be a closed circle because of this equal sign. We want to include 7. Closed circle to the left. All right, last one of the day. All right, now 3/4 K is less than or equal to negative 27. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and flip it. Right, inverse property of multiplication. You're multiplying by a fraction, so you'll multiply by the inverse, 4/3. Right, and that's going to give you 1 here. So we have 1K. Like I said before, we don't have to write it. Sometimes I write it, right? And we'll have 4/3 here. So make that a little easier, right? A little bit easier. So I'll write 4/3. and we'll just multiply 27 times 4. That's 108, and we know it's going to be a negative number because the 27 is negative. So 108, negative 108 divided by 3 gives us 36, a negative 36. So we know we are going to compare 36 in our answer. All right, so we did not need to flip the sign because we did not divide by a negative number, even though our answer comes out to be a negative 36. Now let's plug that in. If we have, let's do another multiple of k is less than negative 36, so we can use negative 40. The 3 over 4 is equal to 40, right? And then that's going to be less than or equal to negative 27. And this is going to be 120 over 4 is equal to negative 27. And because that's a negative 40 we chose, it's going to be negative 120. That's going to be negative 30 and that's not equal to, less than or equal to negative 27. That is correct, which means we did the right thing, which means our circle will be closed and we will be moving on to the left. All right, you guys, go ahead and do the homework. I hope that helped. Have a great day.